Hey beautiful souls, Carlene here, the modern day medicine woman, and I'm sitting here in my home office. I don't have a mic laying around and I don't have a good camera. My lighting is really shit, but I wanted to talk about something that's really pissing me off and I couldn't wait. Spiritual teachers who are fucking people up worse than they were before they showed up for healing. Gurus who've built entire businesses on making you believe you can't trust yourself. The way power gets abused in spiritual spaces and everyone just calls it divine will. I'm talking about the teachers who make you feel crazy for questioning them. The ones who isolate you from anyone who might help you see clearly. The healers who are using your vulnerability against you. This isn't spiritual work. This is control with better branding, and we need to stop pretending it's not happening. I know because I've been in these spaces. I've sat in the circles where the people leading were the ones who most needed to look in the mirror. I've worked with people who used the very teachings and words against me so they wouldn't have to admit mistake or wrongdoing. And I've walked away from those spaces because I've also seen what it actually looks like to be held by people who aren't working through ego, but walking alongside you. People who know that at some point, the journey together ends. Let me be specific about what I'm talking about, because this isn't about having a teacher or learning from someone with more experience. This is about the dynamic where you lose access to your own knowing because someone else convinced you theirs is better. It's the teacher who positions themselves as the only one who really gets you. The healer who makes leaving feel like you're abandoning your path. The mentor who treats any question as a personal attack. These spaces have inner circles and outer circles, just like high school. They're the chosen ones who get special access. And everyone else, performing devotion hard enough to get noticed, hoping they're spiritual enough, surrendered enough, worthy enough. The language sounds beautiful, sacred container, divine guidance, holding space, but what's actually happening is the same power trip that's been running forever. I know something you don't. I have access you need. I'm closer to source than you are. I've watched spiritual teachers hide behind, I'm just channeling this, when they make decisions that serve themselves versus everyone else. Everything gets blamed on divine guidance, which means you can't question it without questioning God, which real convenient. And the people who showed up genuinely looking for help, they end up in this dynamic where checking with the teacher becomes more important than checking in with themselves. There's a pattern to this, and once you see it, you'll recognize it everywhere. It starts with love bombing. You show up raw and opened, and they see you. They really see you. They say things about you that land so true, you feel like you've finally found someone who understands. This is the teacher you've been waiting for. Then, the isolation starts. Anyone who questions the teacher isn't holding the right energy. Friends outside the community are lowering your vibration. Family who's worried just doesn't understand your journey. And before long, everyone you trust is inside this container. The only person who can tell you if you're seeing things clearly is the person who might be the problem. Then comes the gaslighting. You feel weird about something the teacher did. But when you bring it up, suddenly you're the issue. You're resistant. You're in your ego. You're being tested and failing. Your discomfort isn't information. It's a spiritual problem that you need to fix. I've had this used on me. I paid for something I was explicitly promised, and it didn't exist. And when I said, hey, this isn't what you told me it would be, I didn't get an apology or a refund or even basic fucking honesty. I got told that what I was experiencing was projection from my past relationships, that my anger wasn't actually with this person or the situation, that my emotions were because I was leading too much and not resting enough, which was bullshit because I had been resting, that my expectations of how I thought something was going to be got in the way of seeing the reality of it, that I didn't fully listen to what was being said. Every tool I'd learned, every concept I'd studied, every piece of spiritual language I understood got used against me. My reality got dismantled piece by piece until I was sitting there questioning whether I'd heard what I'd heard, whether the promises made were actually made, whether being angry about being lied to was spiritual immaturity. I was lied to, told exactly what I wanted to hear so I'd buy into a space. And when I called it out, the person who lied couldn't just say, I fucked up, or I misrepresented this, or even, you're right, that's not what this is. Instead, I became the problem. My perception, my past, my inability to surrender to what was actually happening, which was me being scammed with Sanskrit words. That's what this looks like when it's happening to you. Your legitimate anger becomes your unhealed trauma. Your boundary becomes your block. Your ability to see clearly becomes resistance to the teachings. Teachers telling students their trauma is just a story they're attached to, dismissing real concerns as low vibrational thinking, convincing people that if they were truly awakened, they wouldn't feel what they're feeling. And the money pieces. Thousands of dollars for access to what they claim is already inside you. When you can't afford it, you have money blocks. Your hesitation is scarcity mindset. If you valued yourself, you'd find a way. Some of these people are making $1 million a year while their students go into debt for the next level, the next training, the next initiation that will finally make them whole. This isn't just about wasted money or time. This is about your spiritual foundation getting destroyed by the people who are supposed to protect it. I work with women who can't trust their intuition anymore because a teacher convinced them their inner knowing was just their wounds talking. Women who were sexually coerced by male teachers calling it tantric healing. Women who stayed in harmful situations because leaving would mean they weren't spiritual enough. The gaslighting creates this confusion where you can't tell what's real. Is this teacher actually harmful? Or am I not evolved enough to see the lesson? Is this violation actually sacred? Is my discomfort resistance or wisdom? I sat in circles where the people leading were the ones who most needed to look in the mirror. People holding space who couldn't hold themselves accountable. People teaching about shadow work who were actively avoiding their own. And I've sat in spaces where it happened to me directly, where I got sold something that didn't exist. And when I named that, every spiritual concept I knew got weaponized so the person didn't have to admit wrongdoing. You're projecting. You're in your past. You didn't rest enough. You didn't listen well enough. Your expectations are the problem, not the lie. Not the manipulation, not the fact that I was told one thing and given another. My response to being lied to became the issue, not the fucking lie itself. And here's what that does to you. It makes you question everything. Did I hear that wrong? Am I making this up? Is my anger valid or am I just wounded? Am I being unreasonable or am I being gaslit? The confusion isn't accidental. It's the point. Because if you can't trust your own perception, you can't hold everyone accountable for harming you. Because it's all wrapped in spiritual language. Because it's happening in spaces supposed to be about love and consciousness. The confusion is worse. You came for healing and got harmed. You came for empowerment and got dependence. You came to remember yourself and got taught to worship someone else. And the aftermath shows up in my practice constantly. The shame people carry for letting it happen. The way they've disconnected from their bodies because their bodies tried to warn them and they overrode it. The spiritual trauma where they can't trust anything sacred anymore. Working with Mayan medicine women for the past 4 years taught me what this is supposed to look like. And the difference is so stark, it's almost shocking. These women come from unbroken lineages. They were trained by their grandmothers. They know how to hold sacred space without making it about them. They don't need you to worship them. They don't create tiers of worthy versus unworthy. They don't charge amounts that would destroy you financially. And when you sit with them, you're sovereign. They're not there to fix you or save you or become your whole spiritual identity. They witness your process. Share what they know, then step back so you can integrate it your way. No love bombing, no isolation, no gaslighting, just presence and skill and care that doesn't need dependence to be real. They understand the medicine doesn't belong to them. It belongs to the people, the earth, the ancestors. They're stewards, not owners. They share what they know because that's what you do with medicine. And here's what changed for me. They know the relationship has an end point. They're walking alongside you for a portion of your journey, not trying to become your permanent guide. They want you to take what you need and move forward on your own path. That's what real holding looks like. Someone who sees you, supports you, shares what they know, and then releases you. Not because you failed or graduated or reached some level, but because the work was never about keeping you. It was about helping you, about guiding you to remember what you already have so you can walk on your own. If you're in a dynamic where you can't tell if it's sacred or harmful, your confusion isn't a spiritual problem. It's a normal response to manipulation. Start listening to your body, not the concepts in your head, not what your teacher told you to feel, but what your nervous system is actually saying. Does your stomach drop around this person? Do you feel smaller in their presence? Do you leave sessions feeling drained? Your body isn't lying to you. Your teacher might be, but your body isn't. And if you leave, that's not spiritual failure, that's maturity. Walking away from what's harming you, even when it's wrapped in sacred language, even when everyone thinks this teacher is enlightened. That takes real courage. I walked away from spaces I used to roam, spaces where I was told I was the problem for seeing what I was seeing. And on the other side of that, I found what real sacred work looks like. But I had to trust myself enough to leave first. You might lose community, and you might lose the identity you built there. You might feel lost for a while. That's part of reclaiming yourself. Find people who want you sovereign, not dependent. Find teachers who can be wrong, be questioned, be human. Find spaces that honor your autonomy. And listen, some people might not even realize they're doing this. They might genuinely believe they're serving, helping, holding space. They might be unconscious of the harm they're causing. And I will tell you, either way, it doesn't matter. Either way, it's not okay. Intent does not erase impact. Being unconscious of your harm does not make the person you harmed any less hurt. You don't get a pass on accountability because you thought you were enlightened while you were manipulating someone. The harm is the harm, whether it was conscious or not. Beautiful souls, real spiritual authority doesn't require your disempowerment. Real teachers know they're not special. They just learned something before you did, and now they're sharing it. If your teacher needs you more than you need them, if they require worship, if they can't handle questions without making you the problem, that's not sacred. That's ego. You don't need a guru, and you don't need someone positioning themselves as the only path to your own power and charging you for that illusion. If this landed, let me know in the comments. Share this with someone who needs permission to trust themselves again, and subscribe, because we're going to keep saying what needs to be said. Until next time, stay sovereign, and remember, you already have what you're looking for. Nobody gets to gatekeep that. We'll see you soon.